So you got all girls, I got all boys. You got girls and boys.
Yeah.
So y'all got to tell me, what do y'all feel like the difference is between fathering girls and fathering boys?
I don't have a son, so I don't know how to tell you what the difference is.
I definitely know your experience got to be different than mine because it seemed like raising girls, it take an emotional toll on you.
Yeah, like, so to be honest, like for me, I grew up in a house with all boys. My mom had 6 kids, and it's 5 boys, 1 girl. And my sister, I would say she got the princess treatment, but it wasn't an emotionally, like we had to suppress our emotions. Like it wasn't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to, when you're dealing with all boys, you have to like rule with an iron fist. So I get it. So like with me having daughters, I have to catch myself sometimes. Like, am I being too like overbearing? Like at the end of the day, what they say, I'm just a girl. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
sometimes I have to catch myself and be like, I do need to allow them to understand and process their emotions. I do need to allow them to like have some feelings. Like, although it's frustrating to me because I'm not used to dealing with all the emotional side of, girls like that. It is a real thing that I have to take into consideration, opposed to like, suck it up, like, don't cry.
So like you said in your house, y'all had to withhold, you mean you had to withhold emotions period in the house, or y'all had to do that with her because she was the one girl?
I feel like how do I say this? It's not that we had to withhold emotions, but it wasn't about your emotions. We're not about to acquiesce to whatever you feeling right now, because whatever is the mission of the household is more important than however you feeling.
You think that was hard for her?
For my sister, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know we've had conversations today where she's still trying to process certain things as a grown woman because of like her way of dealing with stuff was either shutting down or not speaking up or whatever the case may be. Because if it wasn't whatever you want to speak up about, if it's not what we got right here in front of us, we ain't really trying to hear it. Like, we'll hear you out, but it's not going to be taken serious, or we're not going to be able to. It's not even that we're not going to be able to. We didn't afford, like realistically, we wasn't able to afford the time, effort, attention, and money resources to each child because there's so many of us. So like being realistic, there's only so much of that you can truly, as only 2 parents with 6 kids, how much time, effort, and resources can you pour into one child to make sure that they're holistically sound? It's very difficult. And keep your mental peace and everything you got going on. So it's like, I get it as I got older, and I would never hold that against them, but it was only so much of emotional liberty you was able to have.
I feel like I actually enjoy the dynamic of having both.
Yeah.
I tell my oldest and anyone that's ever asked me, my daughter saved my life, like for real.
Yeah, your oldest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at that stage of life where I was at, I was just kind of really reckless. And having a daughter, when I initially found out, I was upset. And I knew it. I was like, I knew the Lord was going to do this. He's going to give me all girls because of how I was. But to be honest, for us, we can see the baby growing, you know what I'm saying? And like start developing emotions for it. But for moms, it's different. Like they feel it. They can feel that motherhood initially.
Yeah.
When I first held my daughter and I was in the delivery room and I saw her, bro, it just like instantly like hit me.
Yeah.
Did you cry?
Bro, I was boo-hooing.
I didn't cry with Sky. I cried with Ari, but I think I cried because of the delivery experience.
Oh, the delivery experience, first of all, when people say it's a beautiful thing,
No, that's
you lie.
Yeah, you lie.
That's cat.
I can.
That is, it is. Whoop. I'll spare y'all. But I say this. She saved my life because for the first time I realized that it was not about me, right? And having her, she just created a softer side.
Yeah.
And so to counter that with having my son, my girls are like on me. You know what I'm saying? Love me, daddy. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Like they just on me. My son, as soon as I come into the house, like, but I like that though because I'm like, he gotta get that out. You know what I'm saying? Because like I grew up with two sisters as well.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I just want to body slam something.
Yeah. I don't know what it means. I don't know if it's the testosterone.
Yeah.
What? Cause Benji showed picked me up the other day. What's up, Pops?
Yeah.
It just like, picked me up off my feet. I never
Yeah.
go out like, man, what you got going on? But that's that dude stuff, man.
Yeah. I think the cool thing is, as I'm evolving and maturing in my fatherhood, when I look at my daughters, it's just like, I realize I'm help raising young women, but I'm raising somebody's future wife.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you are being impactful in their lives, you have to realize like they're going to learn how a man is supposed to treat them.
Yeah.
Based on one, how I treat their mother, how I treat my mother, how I treat my sisters. And so I want to be the best example I possibly can for that, right? And then for my son, I'm raising a future husband, a future provider, a future, someone that is going to not only keep the name going, but he also has to learn how to treat women as well. And so, I take that very seriously.
Yeah. That made me think, y'all got girls, this go for boys too, because sometimes we skip this out. How soon do y'all think it's too soon or too late to talk to your kids about dating? Because I feel like even at this like middle school age, like, I got a fourth and a fifth grader. And the funniest thing, I've learned the most from backseat ear hustling.
Yeah.
It's when they talking to each other about it, I get all the information.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Because like Malachi, he and the girls. Malachi wanted to wear a tie all week because it was a new student coming in as a girl. And he said, I gotta look professional.
I like that. I love Malachi, I swear.
Man, so the conversation all week was, you gonna focus on your schoolwork, is what you gonna do. I'm like, you can be nice, you can be a friend, but not too much, okay? Yeah. But he was on it all week. I'm talking about when I got him from school Thursday, he said, well, she ain't come this week, she still sick. Like, you ain't seen it, girl. But he do only go to school with a couple of kids, so so for like him, he's 10, he'll be 11 this year. I'm like, okay, there's more conversations I need to start having.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a dating, but I need to have the boys and girls conversation. And Benji thing is, the girls he talk about ain't the ones that he like.
Okay.
And I only found that out because I heard him tell his brother that. So because his brother think this girl that was his friend, and he was like, Malachi literally said, that's gonna be your wife. And he was like, I don't like her like that. And one day he got so frustrated, he said, I don't like her. I like this other girl.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so there's clearly some, just open forums to have. But what y'all think, when do y'all think is a good time to start the conversation?
I think as early as you see them start to show signs of interest in girls or in men, when it comes to your daughters, but I think it also needs to be within reason.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is like, when do you start to like really pour into them the different aspects of being in relationships, and like what stages. Like, are we gonna keep it funky and be like, and talk to them about what really goes on? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like by the time you get about 15, you might have to go ahead and
Earlier than that.
Well, I'm not even talking about just talking to them about sex. I'm talking about like all the ins and outs of being in a relationship.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't allowed to be like have a girlfriend in high school like that. So I didn't like. I mean, I had girls that I talked to. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't no boyfriend, girlfriend. Not nothing for real. Nothing serious. It wasn't until.
I'm glad.
It wasn't until and looking back, I could see both sides of like why you should have that experience at an earlier age, but then I also understand why my dad was like no, and like he would always say you gotta be 17 and responsible, and then even when I was 17 and felt like I was responsible, he feels like no.
You're still not ready.
Yeah. So
You're
like
not.
honestly, I honestly feel like up until I got married, he felt like I wasn't ready. Like, you know what I mean? Like it would have never been.
Your dad went with the holding back as long as I possibly
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I swear,
Sheltered life.
he didn't even acknowledge Desiree or any of my siblings that were in relationships.
Yeah.
He never acknowledged our significant other as boyfriend or girlfriend. He'll be like, "Oh, your friend girl." Yeah. Like I'm like, Daddy, I'm a grown man, bro. Like it's a little different. I get it if I was in high school, but I do feel like some of the hiccups that I had in my relationship as I got older was due to me not having experience with it beforehand. But it's kind of like, it's also one of those things of like everybody has their relationship growing pains, so you can't necessarily dictate or pour into them exactly what they're going to experience. But I do feel like there could have been some conversations to prep us, especially when it comes to getting married and like what the expectations are when it comes to leading a household. Some of the ways to deal with conflict with your significant other, like having real conversations about it, not just by like examples of, me and your mama gonna talk about this when we go in the room. You know what I mean? But it's like how do you handle conflict with your significant other, or when you guys are not seeing eye to eye? Yeah, we know to pray, but it's more to it than just praying together. You know what I'm saying? But that all stems from the dating process too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I don't necessarily know when the right age to like fully dive into the different aspects and nuances of being in a relationship, but it definitely needs to be. I think it needs to be a habit for us to start having some form of conversation.
Yeah, because I said 15. You said even earlier than that.
I
Then you
feel-
got the oldest kid out of all those too, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah. My daughter's 13. My oldest is 13.
Yeah.
My son is 9, and my youngest is 7. And I've had conversations about dating with all 3 of them. And it's just really kind of based on where they're at. And I feel like for us as fathers, in order to really kind of understand where they're at, is just having a conversation.
Yep.
And so, like, when I'm asking questions, when I realize that, like, my daughter is like, oh, I can't stand Nathan. And you know what I'm saying?
But that really means you...
Yeah, and I'm like, okay.
Nigga, your Nate got your attention.
And so, like, because of my relationship with them, I am, like, more of, like, the goofy one. I can kind of get them to open up a little bit more. Just by them being more relaxed and it not being so, like, oh, I'm afraid what he's going to say. I think my girls know that, like, if anyone messes with them, they know daddy crazy. They know that past life will come out real quick. You know what I'm saying? And I remind them that. But I also think it's good for them to be able to have emotions and utilize me and their mom and our village as far as like, how do I process this? And so when you see it for us, I think it's about being like intentional and then also making sure that you already have that developed relationship to where you can be able to have those conversations with them and based off of where they're currently at maturity wise.
Yeah. Because it makes me think about that because, you got like prom season coming up. And, that'd be a whole thing. Because, and then I feel like there's always the missing plus additional experiences because I didn't get to go to prom. Because prom was always the week of the powerlifting state championship. So I never got to go. But I'm like, I'm the best. I had enough of, I had more than my fair share.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't date a girl in high school, you was shrink, the gates was wide open for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I was spending nights.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, I had nights I ain't even come home.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
And had to go to school the next morning. You know what I'm saying? So
I can't even imagine.
Listen, we'll talk about this later, but like, because my parents were strict, right? But there was a certain age where it was just like, I'm out here.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna stop it. I'm coming in a house with hickeys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that was back when you used to have your own like landline phone. Had my neon blue, you know what I'm saying? Landline phone.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, playing the track in the background for the voicemail. But so like, it got to a point where my parents was just like, okay, you out here, clearly.
Yeah.
And whatever we do, you're going to find a way to do it.
Yeah.
But don't be bringing no babies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my mom was it was more my mom that was very, like, real with me. Like, she a floozy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
she was like,
watch those Jezebels.
Yeah. Might well help you pick them. You already
because like how Steven said, like dealing with them where they at. Like I've tried to make sure I'm very intentional with like creating or leaving those spaces open and not being like the enforcer. Like don't be doing that, little boys has got cooties. So like I haven't really heard Skylar talk about boys like that. Like I believe it was one little boy in her class that she probably was attracted to or something. But Ariana, oh man, she done gotten fights with girls because she's last year. I'll show y'all a video. I gotta find it.
Over boy?
Yes, her little best friend named Elijah. They still hang out to this day. But this was not this school year, last school year. Elijah, whenever they get mad with each other, they take their best friend title away.
Oh yeah.
So I had to have that conversation with her. Like, look, that's not how friendships work.
Yeah.
You could be mad or you could be irritated with someone and think she was only 3 at the time. But I'm like trying to like have that communication with her because she ended up telling me of the whole little drama behind he wanted to play with this person and I didn't want. I'm like, look, you can't dictate what a boy want to do. Like either he gonna do it or he not. Like you can't tell him that he have to, and then now he don't want to be best friends with you, or you don't want to be best friends with him, and now that he got another best friend, you mad at her because she is like it was a whole little situation where she got in a fight with 2 girls.
She sound like Ruby from the Cosby Show.
she got in a fight
Ruby
with
and
2
Bud.
girls. Yeah, and the girl spit on her, so we have to have a teacher, teacher. This is 3. You know what I'm saying? But Ari did slap her in the face, so I gotta deal with that. You know what I mean? But yeah, so having those conversations, but not making her feel like demonized for it. You know what I mean? And I feel like I did a good job with that because at first I definitely felt some type of way at first. But then I also got to meet the boy's parents. He comes from a good household. And so it's really like, oh, this is just funny.
Yeah.
But how do I like curate this without it being, something that's going to make her want to hide from me? You know what I mean?
I feel like it's definitely going to be tears to it, like you said. Because you 3-4, you having the whole friendship conversation. You gotta have man, it's so many doors you gotta open. You gotta open the leeway with that. But I think the more detailed you are, the more it helps the kids too. And that's what we've been talking about, like building that relationship.
Yeah, it's important, bro.
Because a lot of it is getting them to talk and getting them to tell you. Because even what you find out is only so much, which make me think about too. Because I know you the oldest of your siblings, right? Was you the oldest too?
Mm-hmm.
So y'all didn't get to really have the experience of having older siblings putting you on game.
I did though.
Ah, okay.
I did though, and that's what's a trip because of my mom's side. Their dynamic. My uncles were really young.
Oh yeah.
So like my uncle that put me up on game with everything. He was like 16.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't want to say his name. Yeah, but you know, he put me up on game about a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, when I moved in a certain direction.
This was
Yeah.
This is the one that put me on.
Yeah.
Selling drugs early age, drinking at an early age.
Yeah. And you said he was 16. You were like what?
Man. Probably like 6.
Yeah. So he like 10 years older than you.
Yeah.
That's that strong mentor gap right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a trip because like the whole gangbanging culture, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? How to treat females, how to be a player, all that type of stuff. I learned from him. Even though my parents were a fantastic example, because of that pressure of like living up to my dad's standard, I'm like, this nigga perfect. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that. At least I was able to see like, okay, this is the other aspect of it, and this looks fun. You see what I'm saying? So like, he was the one that put me on up on game, taught me how to fight, basically taught me a lot of stuff that I needed to unlearn later on in life, which is not his fault because somebody taught him the same thing.
Yeah.
And then to add on to that, like just being in Southern California, that culture is so ingrained in the Southern, like there's little white boys and before gangbanging was like as popular or mainstream as it is now. When we were growing up, it still was like so popular in Southern California. People that's never even lived in the hood be saying blood and cuz. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like when you're really from that, it's so hard to not get dragged into it or be enamored by it in some form or fashion. It was I would say it was more of an anomaly to come across kids that didn't lean towards that than it was that did. And then most of the times, from my experience, not everyone, but for the most part, the ones who didn't get actually put on, it was because of they had daddies in their life, for real.
Yeah.
That's facts.
Cause I sure say who you look up to, I feel like as we talk about it in the teenage ages, impacts you and makes a really big difference on I think who you will be in your 20s. But some y'all can answer to. I feel like we got to give teenagers a little more grace of this because if in your teenage years who you look up to as a young adult impacts your 20s, I feel like your 20s is where you remix the whole thing. Because who I am in my 30s is nothing of who I was in my 20s. But in my 20s, I was really trying to become who I looked up to.
Facts. Or like this vision that you have in your head of
how you think it's supposed to be.
How it's supposed to go.
So I would say for me, it was a handful of people. From who I looked up to when I was in high school compared to who I looked up to when I was in my 20s, you know, and then who I've become now. I would say a handful of people and I feel like it's changed. It changed over the years also, of like what became important to me.
Yeah.
Because in like junior high, high school, very much so my older cousins, and
Yeah.
you know, this is before this is before like having foreign cars and having you know expensive jeans. Well, the stuff we thought was expensive is nowhere near compared to what
Yeah.
$1,200 jeans now. But times I'm talking about is you just have some Jordans, some 501 Levi jeans, and a white tee and be fitted. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, some of the things and some of the people and influences, which probably wasn't the best, not probably, definitely wasn't the best influences, definitely were very influential at those younger ages. But then as I also realized, as I got older, some of the decisions that they was making, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not about to be, you know what I'm saying, doing that. And it's kind of like, then I started to see, I went off to college and then I got exposed to a different environment and I started being around different, I can't say different mindset, but it was an elevated mindset more so. And so I was able to have access to different experiences that I feel like my cousins didn't get at a certain point. And so life in my worldview expanded past what they was ever able to show me. And so that's when I feel like things started changing. And then I started actually like trying to work on myself reading books. And then I feel like my influences then also changed as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think at stages your influences change. Now I'm to the point where I don't necessarily think I have people that I like look up to in the way that I did then, but more so I look to for I wouldn't say consulting, but like advice. You know what I'm saying? Advice. Because when I was younger, it would be like I want to be like that.
Yeah.
Now it's like I need advice in this area, and I know you have this experience.
Yeah. So if college and books changed yours, I have to say ministry changed mine first, and then corporate changed it secondly. Cause my teenage who I want to be as an adult was Gucci Mane.
I think that's real though. Like just having that dynamic, right? With having somebody's friends come over to the house and still ask like, oh, can such and such come out and play? Like,
Yeah.
I think that's such a thing that's missing these days. But
I think
I'm
it's because
happy
we don't
that.
have community like we used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's so different. I know they blame online for that, but I think it's parents because I know my friends' houses who I went over, my mom knew his mom.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It was always at least a piece of the relationship there. And I always felt like back then the parents did a better job of establishing that too. Because you might just start out with this, Ricky. And my mom may not be Ricky's mom's friend for real, but they gonna know each other.
Yep.
They gonna have each other's phone numbers.
Exactly.
Cause I'm always over Ricky's house playing the game.
Facts.
So we don't have that no more, man. I don't even know where that went wrong.
I'll tell you what.
Go ahead. I don't know.
Let's just be real. You don't like them niggas.
You're right.
And by the time you come home, you tired. I ain't got time to deal with another human being, let alone an adult. I gotta take care of these children.
Yeah.
No, but you're right though. I think it's a little bit of both, right? I think we were so used to having that dynamic as far as community, which was cool, right? But then like nowadays, people don't really like stay in their houses, for as long as
That's
they did.
true.
You see what I'm saying?
We be on the go. Bro.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So like, you don't necessarily have time to like build that connection, and if you do, it's through your kids because they did meet someone, and then you actually do become cool with somebody. But other than that,
yeah, because even though my kids don't stay close to where the kids they go to school with. Now, I will say, as I thought about it, I do have a little bit of that dynamic now. It's just not at home because the way the structure is for my kids' school, and I feel like education and schooling could help this too. The kids go to the playground, and we don't pick them up like right out of class. You pick them up from recess, so they already out there playing. And because you don't want to always disturb them playing, I get to talk to the parents.
That's
so
cool.
now, where my mama might have had that relationship with Miss Jones, because me and the kids friends or such and such, we have that at school. But that makes me bring up another question. And in the world we live in today, how can we both change the perspective of men, of fathers, of dads in today's world, but also make the changes in the places where we missing? So, not in every statistic like they say, but in a lot of statistics where there is community or things like that, we either absent or we the minority. For instance, voting, we the minority, which is crazy. That now it does when it gets into demographics of men. So I'll say black and brown men, we the minority when it comes to voting in most states. Not always, which we need to shift the perspectives of this. We used to be the least active in schools, which a lot of time that was set up traditionally because, you know, if the man was the head of household, he was taking on the bulk of work. You know, the wife always either had the local job where she could pick up the kids, or so that's changed. So some things in the world have changed. So just by us displaying that, hey, here are some more dads who do pick up now too, because dads work from home, entrepreneurs, all that type of stuff. Now you spend a lot of time with the kids. But in some other places, where would y'all want to see us change the narrative or show up more as men in the world, so that we can especially change that future for what our kids look up to us as?
I'm gonna say one that's honestly convicting for me right now because I'm not doing it, but serving at church.
Ooh wee!
Like if you think about it, most single ministries, it is
all women,
a ton of women,
man,
and a select amount of men. When you think about the people that are serving within the church,
mostly women. Yeah.
And so, to be honest, if you really want to change culture, community, all of that, it starts with the men being in the church.
Yep. What the values are.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And making sure that the lessons that are being learned within that then bleeds out into everything, because that teaches us how to lead and lead properly, because we're not only following our own example or our previous experience example, we're following the word of God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
when you lead that way, it's kind of hard to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Since we want to open those floodgates, though, that also means the church have to change some of the ways that they go about conducting itself as well. So there's a lot of, if you're from the church culture, you know what I mean. There's there's also a lot of ego in a lot of church culture from leadership down. And I feel like when you don't even realize, a lot of times I don't even think they realize the ego that's attached.
Now they realize it. Because I want you to finish, but I'm going to say what you might can't say. Hey, the church ain't the place for you to be LeBron James. To try to re-establish and highlight yourself as the man. No, because that's what it is, ain't it?
Yeah.
Especially in established cultures. You get what I'm saying? Now I'm non-denominational, so I can call all y'all out. You culture folks, you get what I'm saying?
We started off church guys. That's why we
saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
And no disrespect.
No disrespect, but that be some of the places where we see it most, where, you know, thank God for the structure, but it be like the men who are the leaders, they can't do no wrong. You get what I'm saying? They get so much leave. We have to, especially, and I don't know if this is where you were going, so I'm gonna let you finish, but I know in many cultures, even the way they look at women just be, I'm like, this is not helping us, especially raise both our sons or daughters. Because you end up with this. I feel like toxic masculinity still exists. What keeps it alive, because we think it's social media. No, it just infiltrated social media the last 5-6 years. I think what keeps it alive is traditional church culture. Because that's what I feel like I've always seen it most. Where the dudes is the dudes. And like how we say we need to fix it. Think about this. How many times have we seen it be shameful for a young woman, a teenage girl, to be pregnant? But it's a boy that put it in her. What is chastising? You know what I'm saying?
9 times out of 10, it's a PK. No, Lord, I'm just.
But I ain't never seen a PK son be looked down on for having kids.
Oh yes, I have.
The way
because no, they
talk
do.
about it.
They do. It's.
I mean, I'm a PK.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's not that they don't be looking down. They definitely look down at the sons, which is why the sons don't be around.
Yeah.
My thing is, you're right, and with everything you said, but it's also a thing of men not knowing how to lead men.
Woo-wee.
And so egos get in the way, and we're not able to put our ego to the side and pinpoint the actual issue of whatever something is and come to an agreement, or at least having a mutual agreement of how we could handle, things. And my dad told me something one time that was so true. It was when I first moved back in with him from college, and he was like, "I understand you've been out there doing your own thing for a little bit, for whatever now, but you're a grown man. You were under my roof. 2 grown men can't be under the same roof." That's very true. So at that point, I was like, I gotta figure out how to get my own roof. Even when you have roommates and it's 2 grown men, at some point, this nigga gonna get under your skin. Because it's very difficult.
Can't do it.
But if there's a common mission involved, you have to learn how to put your ego to the side to get the mission accomplished. Military do it. There's different tactical groups that do it.
Sports.
Sports. You learn how to have a hierarchy and put your ego and your pride to the side in order to accomplish the mission.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, I feel like egos and pride leads in church culture above what the mission is.
I feel like it leads in culture overall.
Yeah, you're right, but I'm saying
overall,
that's
but
what
since we're talking about it,
because you see a lot of churches are ran by the pastor and then number women. You may have a few men sprinkled in here and there. I'm not talking about like the bigger churches, but when it comes to especially I would say 200 people or less, I feel like us as men, we let our egos get in the way, and then you add on top of that the way the church look at people who did whatever is outside of what the norm is for that church, and you're demonized, and we just don't love on people for them being who they are like we're supposed to, and we try and make them fit into the box that we think God wants people to fit into.
It makes me wonder how many boys have seen their fathers worship or pray.
Yeah, I was privileged enough to have that in my household. I know Stephen was privileged enough to have that in his household.
Yeah.
But I know there's way too many. I feel like it's really an anomaly. Because like there's people who grew up in the church that still probably never seen they parents like really worship on their own.
I feel like my son has. I mean, my kids have for sure. There's a period or part of my life where, I was a youth pastor leading, young adults groups or, speaking and sharing my testimony, like with the youth, because that's always been like my passion. So like, I feel like my kids have seen like so many different versions of me, right? And I think, especially like when I rededicated my life, like in 2023, my kids were able to see me be baptized and see this change. My daughter actually got baptized with me because of how God changed my life. It changed the way that I loved on them. I loved on their mom, even though we weren't necessarily like together at that time. But it just changed. Like it was evident. And so, you know, my kids learning Bible verses, that's still something that we do, because I think it's important for them to understand those things, and understand that the gifts and the skills that they have is not because of them. It's because He gave it to you. So utilize that to impact people in a positive way.
Yeah. Would y'all say it was harder for y'all being PKs? Like, especially like rather than normal? Cause PKs look like, what be going wrong? Because PKs be looking like they got, man, yeah, the level of pressure.
Let me break it down for you real quick. There's two different PKs.
Okay.
There is the ones that they follow right in the footsteps. They don't make, they just angel children.
Legacies.
They just,
Yeah, legacy.
they boom. You know what I mean? Like they just, they keep the train rolling. This is what we do.
Young preachers and all.
And then you got the heathens. And I straddled the fence. I did a good job of being a chameleon for a while. And then I was just like, you ever seen Scooby-Doo when they pull the mask off? That was me. I was like, look, nigga, I'm a heathen.
So like for me, I feel like I always was the one who I would go right up to the line where like my toe was hanging off, but I wouldn't jump off the diving board.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say I definitely straddled that line for sure. And like for me also, I feel like, so my dad is my stepfather, but like I tell you all the time, he raised me. Right? So I also, as I've gotten older, I realized like, some things I just felt like didn't come natural to me like it did to my siblings when it came to operating in the ministry aspect. And some of that is because like I realized, okay, his grandfather was a minister, his great grandfather was a minister. Like some of those things is just naturally in their bloodline. It's not necessarily. I felt at times that I was being forced to be something that I wasn't. And then on top of that, you add pressures to living up to what your dad is. When my dad had the opportunity to make whatever mistakes without having any pressure, and then he found his way to God on his own. I was born into this, and I still have to figure out how to make whatever mistakes the best, most clean way, without disappointing my dad. You know what I'm saying? Bringing shame to my family.
But y'all be kids, so how do they hold y'all to either the conduct?
What do you mean by that? When you say how do they hold us, what do you mean?
So, I'll answer that. So, like, it's crazy because most times, most like PKs, their fathers are the ones that are the one kind of instilling that pressure. My dad was actually the total opposite.
Yeah.
He was actually very like, your relationship with the Lord is going to be yours. Like, you ain't getting into heaven just because I'm your dad.
Yeah, I can't pass this salvation.
Yeah, exactly. They ain't no extension. You know what I'm saying? And so he taught me at a very early age, as far as like, you're going to make mistakes and there's going to be consequences for every action that you have, right? So I learned that very early. But I also, it's weird because like when you grow up in the church, and because of the way that my dad's reputation is, even now to this day, people hold him in very high regard.
He's an Anderson.
Like, my dad is Mufasa. Like, when I say, like, he steps into the room, he's just very calm, but, like, he's the most likable dude in the world.
Yeah.
He's my best friend to this day. But my dad was one of those kids that grew up in the hood and didn't go the gangbang route.
Yeah.
He sought the Lord out himself at an early age and, like, just lived it out ever since, like, he was 13. And so my dad never drank, never smoked. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, being his kid and being told, like, oh, you're anointed, you're special, you're a leader, even though those qualities are true, right? It was, I can't be a carbon copy of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, anything felt like I was a failure, not to him or my mom, but to everyone else.
Because of the way they looked at you.
It's a perception thing.
His son. Yeah.
And I would say my dad, he attempted to install some of those same things of, like, you know, you can't, your relationship with God gotta be through you, not through me. Mm-hmm. But you ask my brothers, he would definitely, you will feel it if you disappointed him. And, like, you would know it.
Yeah.
And so it kind of makes it like, dang, like, you know what I mean? To this day, there's just certain things I just don't feel comfortable opening up to him about because of how
his reactions would be.
Yeah. But I will say I was more so afraid of what other people's perception of me would be in regards to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, although he had certain pressures, it wasn't as much pressure as it was just because of you, Mr. Brown's son, you, Pastor Brown's son. That's a bigger pressure that he doesn't even want me to have, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
It's really
it just comes with the territory.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. So, like, and I can only imagine, like, what Brandon, like, you know, will go through, and, you know, there's other people who we grew up with that they went through some of the same things. I feel, and it's unfortunate, but it's a reality of growing up in that culture.
Yeah. So how do y'all frame from there to all this growth, like we talked about? Is there a person or a model that you frame, even if it was your next decade after now? Like, we all around that 35 age. So when you think of your next 10 years, and how does how you grew up impact that? Because for me, for a person who didn't have a father in his life, and then, like, my mom, we didn't really have a relationship. She was just always mom. But I don't know, to this day, the reason she did what she did when I didn't see. I literally know about my mom what I saw. That's it. I don't know much of nothing else. We've had tell-alls as we grew older. So one thing I did learn that happens to you when you grow up like that is you get this superpower that works both for you and against you.
Here we go.
How much it worked for you and how much it worked against you gonna depend on you. Which is, I don't give a F.
I knew it was coming.
Because you don't have no expectations to live up to.
Yeah.
Like, hearing y'all stories, it's like, okay, I can see that pressure. I never really had I always had the option to walk away from everything. Because it was like, you must don't know. I don't know, there's no expectations of me at home, in nowhere else. You the only person got them. So sometimes I would even put more pressure back on other people. Because it's like, you got an expectation of me, I'm finna give you what you need to do for me to meet that.
Gotcha.
Which became a great negotiating tool.
Yeah.
But there have been areas in my life, like in being a father, being a husband, to where I've had to navigate because I've had to understand it's all on me. And once again, you got to go past what you've seen on TV. Mm-hmm. Like, sometimes you learn that even if it's all on you, in your mind, if I do everything I'm supposed to do for my house, everybody gonna be satisfied. Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Absolutely. And you be like, why are you so disrespectful, you little kid? And why are you so upset? You know what I'm saying? The lights on, the bills paid, food on the table. But but because you don't get to see that, you don't know that, okay, this is something that men go through, and you're doing this as a responsibility, not to meet an expectation. So sometimes I not want to do something because it's an expectation. Yeah, because you expect this of me. Don't think that that's why I finna do it. You gonna have to find a way to make this a responsibility in my heart.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I'm not gonna look at it like it necessarily matters. So to answer the question before y'all answer, framing my next 10 years sometimes has been difficult because once again, I don't have a father. I don't have the mentors that I used to have. I feel like I've pretty much kind of climbed to where those mentors in my 20s wanted me to go, whether it was in corporate, whether it was mentors from when I played ball, guys who watched me grow up, even my former pastors back home, because I live somewhere different now, so I don't have that relationship. So, and if any other men are going through that, I would say to help frame that, you kind of got to go two ways if you don't have a father, and then this will be my answer. One, it would be, it's very biblical. Something I've been really telling myself is, some of your answers, you're not going to find in man.
Yeah.
You're not going to find it. And it's not that it don't exist. It may not be what was given to you.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to follow the word. And my other side of it is building community. Having brothers, because I feel like you always have, you can look up to a man, you can look not down on, but down to a man, which is the man you raising and you mentoring, and then you have your brothers across. I feel like that is the perfect perfection of the community of a whole man. And sometimes you have to lean stronger across. You get what I'm saying? Like how I relate to y'all experiences. I ask y'all questions. So that's pretty much my word. And then my brothers across from me, I humble myself and say, you know, I ain't had this, so let me see what you got and see what I can learn and take away from it. But y'all, for like your next 10 years, who are you framing your next 10 years after? Who do you look up to?
I hear the question, and even though like my natural reaction is like want to say my dad, I've also learned that no matter how much I admire someone, I will never be like them. And so to model yourself like them is to kind of have a shared experience. Like you, and the reality is like we don't have that shared experience. So to your point, I feel like I know who I need to be, and there's certain things that either need to be relinquished still in order for me to get there. And it can happen faster, right? If those things are relinquished. Or just making sure that, like I said, I know what works. You mentioned something where it's just like, you gotta always have.
Well, that's dope.
What happened?
My dad was
His dad.
Oh God.
Dad calling in the dad to dad.
I should have called him back.
He in the Holy. He might be in the Holy Ghost. He might feel like you did talking about it.
Like, hey, we're recording right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna definitely make this a commercial. When your dad called during the dad to dad. Now my daddy better not call me during no dad to dad, because he ain't gonna get no answer.
Listen,
we ain't got that far yet. We ain't got that far yet. He'll get a message, text message back. You know.
Yeah.
So
just call me and not pick up. Literally.
That'd be crazy how people do that. It made me mad sometimes. I'll just be honest. My wife made me.
Hey, Daddy. Thank you. We over here recording.
Hey there.
What's up,
Hey, Steve, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Good. How you doing, man?
Okay, good to see you.
Good.
You guys working right now, Marquis?
Yeah.
All right, I'll call you later.
All right.
All right, love you.
Love you too.
Nobody say your name like how the person who named you. Like, they have all the syllables. Like, his level of calling him Markeith.
No, his level calling me Markeith is his country from being Mississippi.
Country people don't know how to always get all their syllables out. Cause in Mississippi, I'm Matthew.
Yeah.
With F's, not T's. You get what I'm saying? Matthew.
Listen, I just need you to say strength one time.
Straight,
Say electricity.
Man, that's the power.
Say
I don't know what
electricity.
you're talking
Say
about.
electricity.
Electricity.
Bro, when
There's
you be
electricity
like,
in there.
in the scripts, I'm like, where did K come from?
Hey, it seems like it. Y'all know what it is.
But yeah, so you go ahead, finish up, Stephen. You were saying,
Yeah, I honestly just feel like as long as you do have that balance of always having a Paul and always having a Timothy, meaning a mentor and somebody that you're pouring into, and then the community aspect that we have, I honestly feel like as the year has grown and being involved in the Good Dad Tribe and actually seeing the impact that our community has, I constantly learn from each and every single one of the guys that is willing to share. You know what I'm saying? And I just think having that community is so important. And I think that's what is the next level for every man, is getting to that place where it's just like, it's okay to not do it by yourself.
so for me, wait, can you ask the question again one more time?
And for your next 10 years, who or what would you model that after, the same way we had people we looked up to coming up to this point?
So for me, it's very similar to what both of you said, but that I don't think I could just point to any one person, and I say that because as I've gotten older, I've also realized that everybody have their strengths and everybody have their weaknesses, and sometimes the weaknesses, like, I'm not gonna say shun you away, but it can be disappointing at times, right? But just because their weakness is disappointing don't mean I can't learn from their strengths and from those weaknesses, right? But there's different strengths that I feel like I need that I see in different individuals.
Yeah.
And there was some strengths that I felt like I need that my father has, and then there's some strengths that I need that my father just did not have. And that goes the same with everyone else that I possibly looked up to. And that's literally the reason why I started the Good Dad Tribe. Is because I was trying to create a community where I don't know everything about raising these girls, and I feel like I should because I had two dads. But there's still stuff that was missing that I'm worried about, that I don't even know if they are able to answer for me. But I know I have other people around me that I'm cool with that it seems like they have some of these answers. So let me pull these guys together. I know these guys over here, let me put them together, and then now we're having all of these shared experiences, and then now I'm being able to call Steven and be like, nigga, no, we're not doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or so it's like now I'm creating that space to where growing up, me and the homies wasn't having these particular conversations, but I was always the one homie who, when we're off one-on-one, we're having these conversations. No matter if it was the homie who literally just caught a body not too long ago, or, one of our PK friends, you know what I'm saying? Or one of the friends who, are doing whatever that's different than the lifestyle I'm living. And so that's what made me want to bring this community together, is because I see a little bit of something I want in so many other people. And it's easier for me to figure that out if we have that community.
That's good. That's good.
Would y'all be able to raise yourself? Meaning,
No.
could adult you raise?
Absolutely not. I'd be in jail. I would be in
God, dog.
jail.
Now you're going to be facing charges.
Nah.
Dog.
Not at
Man. I think I could do young adult. I think I could do young me. Teenage me. Yeah.
No.
And it wasn't even that I was bad off. You sound like you did some things. And it was against your household of expectations. So, yeah, teenage me, not knowing where my child is, I just couldn't. Dang, my mama's strong.
Can you imagine? You realize we didn't have phones growing up.
Yeah.
So like there was no way.
The level of distance
Yes.
was immaculate. You get what I'm saying? And even if you did, it just wasn't natural. Like you couldn't track, you couldn't go on social media all the time, see where they were, what they had going on. Like short story. I did a tell-all to my mama one day and told her, I said, you remember that spring break when I just magically got sick the whole spring break?
Oh yeah, I remember you told this.
She was like, yeah, I never could figure out what was wrong with you. I said, I knew what was wrong with me. I was on the run. I said, them gangsters was looking for me. I said, I had got into it with some GDs. I was like, from some activities that happened with one of their nieces, a couple of their nieces. I said, you know, we pulled a Girls Gone Wild night. I said, the drop-off just didn't go as respectful as he would have liked. So, leads to me not being able to come outside because I need not to be found. You know what I'm saying? My mama was like, what? I said, yeah, I couldn't go outside. I said, so I played sick. So you would ask me why I ain't got to go, why I wanted to go. I had another one I told her, she used to ask me about one of my friends, and I said, mama, it's some people, I'm not going to say we, but there was people who I know who had a hit out on this